Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to Deconstructing Christianity. I am your host, Coach Renz, and today we're going to have a conversation about how the Abrahamic God hates women. Now, I just put this as Abrahamic, even though we generally talk about Christians, but this is going to be the Abrahamic God because we're going to cover some of the Old Testament stuff, which is part of Christianity. But what we're going to discover today, if you have not discovered these things already, is that the women who are the backbone of the church, backbone of the religious organization, are the most least favorable characters in the Bible. Now, sure, people are going to try to point out the here and there of where God favors women. But we're going to see that the overarching idea, and especially since Christians like to say, oh, the Bible in its complete context of the storytelling is about Jesus or is about a loving God. Well, we're going to take that same concept. The overarching storytelling of the Bible is that God hates women, even though he made them. And we're going to start with the fact that he really didn't want to make them in the first place. Didn't really want to make women in the first place. And there's, based on the different version of Genesis, this God didn't want to make women. Didn't think that they were needed. So I'm going to give a few minutes to let people get on. And so in giving those few minutes, let me first say thank you to everyone who is who subscribes to the channels, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok. Those are the three channels that we're going live on right now. I also want to thank everybody who gives gifts on the channel, whether it's a super chat. I do know what gems are now from YouTube yesterday. Each gem is worth 1 cent. So I guess it's YouTube way of making you not feel like you're giving money and that you're giving gems, copying kind of a TikTok format of doing gems. But thank you everybody who gives gems, everybody who's a member of each of the channel, the members, the subscription holders, the fan club members. Thank you for supporting the channel. I greatly appreciate when people do it that way. So we're going to talk about today how the Bible is nothing more than a patriarchal system, how it is the pure definition of toxic masculinity, and the fact that women are the primary supporters of this Bible. And if you take women out of the church, right? It's hot in this joint. It's warmer today. It's 104 degrees today here in San Antonio, somewhere around there. But if you take women out of the church, every church will fail. If you take women out of any religion, the religion fails. There's absolutely no way. But they have to keep women enthralled into this religion. And I already see we got Patel over here on YouTube, who is a huge Jesus supporter without actually ever studying the Bible. But if you take women out of the church, the churches will die. Every religious organization dies without women. You have to have women in order to make the church work. Vegan Christianity. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Sam Houston High. Is that in San Antonio? I know the Fort Sam Houston is here in San Antonio. So I'm going to definitely be inviting Christians to come up and demonstrate how the points that I make about this God hating women, he's a he-man woman hater. Oh, I should find that as a sound or something when I do this subject. The he-man woman haters. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's here. Yeah, it's hot in San Antonio today. That's why this garage is only going to be in here for so long, even with the air conditioning blowing in here. Need to be re-insulated. So anyway, let's start with something very simple. If you were to actually study the Bible deeper than what the church teach you, then you will see that Genesis chapter 1 through Genesis chapter 2, halfway through verse 4, is a different creation story than Genesis chapter 2. In Genesis chapter 1, you got on your sixth day how God created male and female and blessed them and told them to have dominion over the earth, all the animals, and he said that this was good. That's one version of the creation, most likely written by the northern Israelites. The Judaites in southern Israel kingdom at the time frame of the writing of Genesis, which most likely is during the Assyrian and Babylon, started being written during the Assyrian captivity, then into the Babylonian captivity. You have a second telling. And for our first part of our conversation about this, we're going to talk about that second telling. Right? That second telling is your Adam and Eve story, your Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve story. Now, there are a few things that people don't understand that happens in the second telling of this story. The God of the Bible creates the Garden of Eden. Well, he creates man out of the dirt. He creates Eden, he creates man out of the dirt. Then he creates the animals and the plants and all this kind of thing. So the order of creation is switched up a little bit. Where in Genesis chapter 1, the plants and the animals are created before man. In Genesis chapter 2, man is created before the plants and the animals. So he creates man, then he creates the Garden of Eden, creates the plants, creates the animals. An interesting thing that many people don't pay attention to is the fact that in that story, he says that it's not meant for man to be alone. And so let me find a helpmeet for man. So he brings every beast of the field to man to find a helpmeet. Now, there are some people who see this as a moment of bestiality, right? That he is bringing all these animals to see which one Adam is going to be a helpmeet. Now, according to how the Bible in chapter 2 is talking, all the animals could talk. So the animals could talk to him. So what is the helpmeet part? I'm going to lean towards the bestiality. But then after none of the animals can be found to be a helpmeet, he then decides, I'm going to create woman. So woman wasn't part of the original plan for man's existence in the garden. There is no, he made this and he saw it was good. He made that and he saw it was good. That's Genesis chapter 1, a different telling. Genesis chapter 2, he just making shit and figuring it out as he goes. So as he figures it out, he makes woman, Adam and Eve in the garden. Now he tells Adam about the tree of knowledge of good and evil, but he doesn't tell the woman about the tree. So people make the leap, the assumption that Adam is the one who tells her about it, and based on the fact that she knows about it. But she adds a little bit extra to it. When this God of the Bible told Adam about the tree of knowledge of good and evil, he said, don't eat it, for in the day that you eat of it, you will die. When Eve is confronted by the serpent, she says that even if we touch it, we're going to die. That wasn't part of it. So she added something. So then she eats it. She gives some to Adam. The pum pum is so good. Adam goes ahead and he eats it as well. But then the punishment is heavier on Eve than it is on Adam. Adam just has to work for his food. Got to work for his dinner. Eve now has pain, increase of pain in childbirth. Sounds like a grandpa story. Some little kid asking their grandfather, why do women have pain during childbirth? Well, let me tell you a story. Back in the days with Adam and Eve. That's what that sounds like. This is echoed in the New Testament in Paul's writings. And the writings claim to be by Paul. Where he says, was it first not Eve who ate? When he is in his spiel of subjugating women, telling them that they got to be silent in the churches, don't talk, you cannot usurp the authority of a man. You know. But Eve is given more blame, and she is blamed for all the sin that came into the earth based on the writings of Paul. So women, from this telling, this understanding, are now subjugated to men, which then all these other things falls into other aspects of your Bible, where women can be sold by their fathers as slave wives. In the year of Jubilee, women are not set free unless they came into the slavery already married to a Hebrew man, and then they are set free with their husband in the year of Jubilee. But if the master gives the slave a wife or the servant a wife, then this in the year of Jubilee, the woman and her children, they're not set free. Only men are set free during the year of Jubilee. Whether it's the 7th year or the 50th year, only men are set free. Women are not. Women are the only ones sold into slave marriages. Men are not. Women are given to other women as slaves. And there's my wife giving me a high five on this one with the 100 gems. Why is she giving 100 gems? Go. But women are not set free during that time frame. Women are given as slave wives, handmaids, and forced to have sex with the husbands, whether we're talking about Hagar being forced to have sex with Abraham, Bilhah, who was the handmaiden of Leah, and I always forget the other handmaid's name. I don't know why I can't remember that woman's name. She is given into slavery, slave wife. She's lifted from handmaid level to slave wife level. So we have all these instances where women are sold as slave wives. If they're fighting a battle and the POW women can be taken as slave wives to the Israelite men. When the women were dancing, the men of Benjamin just grabbed them some slave wife at Shiloh. So women are just property through and throughout this Bible, right? Even when a woman was said that she can inherit land, Moses put a little clause on there that if you were to, you can maintain the inheritance until you get married. And if you marry someone outside of the group, then your inheritance goes away. So they're done this way. It's a constant riff on women as them being merely property. If a young girl is not betrothed to someone and a man rapes her, then the young woman has to marry that man as long as he paid the father the bride price. And the fact that there is a bride price shows how women are just merely property. If two men are fighting and the wife try to help her husband, but if she can hit him anywhere on his body, but if she hits his balls, then you cut her hand off, right? Women are just property. Women's emissions are considered to be unclean. It's a natural thing that happens with almost every woman, and it is considered to be unclean if you touch her, or anything that she touches is unclean, right? In any story of adultery, 99.9% of the time, the adultery only happens when a man has sex with another man's property, wife property. You just have Judah goes and has sex with a temple priest, not adultery. Tamar is found pregnant, she committed adultery. The woman is brought to Jesus, she committed adultery. Where's the man? The man is never there, never part of the whole deal. So we have all these things. Both Aaron and Miriam come and complain about Moses being married to this Midianite woman. Yet Miriam is the only one who is punished. And as I said earlier, Paul tells women, shut the hell up. Be silent in the churches. Do not speak, for I suffer you not to usurp the authority of a man. Or was it not Eve who first transgressed and allowed sin to enter into the world? Women get a raw deal in this book. And yeah, you're going to have your moments where you got, a couple of deaconesses. You have your moments of where the woman washes Jesus' feet, dries it off with her hair, and Martha pretty much is a cougar who's a sugar mama. You got your moments. But the overall idea of women in the Bible is a negative idea towards the woman. Whether we're talking about the daughter of women aren't even named in the Bible unless there's something important about them that happens. But you got Delilah is looked upon cruelly, but you have her name starts with a D too. Jacob's daughter, she gets essayed, and then the brothers use that as a method to annihilate, genocide a town. But beyond that, then you don't hear shit else about her for the rest of the book. She becomes unimportant. So women are not important in this book. Starting to get some people over here on the TikTok. So let's go ahead and let some of the TikTokers get up here and hopefully someone to plead the case for women in the Bible. I know this person was first. I don't know who was second and third. Papino? I don't know if I'm saying that name right. Pampino.
Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now. Are you over 21?
How you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah, I'm 34 G.
All right. Are you a believer in the Bible?
I know the Bible.
This wasn't the question I asked.
There's a difference between believing and knowing, but so you, whatever you want to call it, yeah, no believe here.
Okay. All right. So what is your thoughts statement? How does God not hate women?
The Lord actually takes the woman. All the laws are to protect them from the things that are not under the law. So
all the laws are there to protect women that are not under the law.
Yeah, the laws of Abraham, that's in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. All the laws that are about the women being betrothed and things like that, it's for the protection and for the sake of the woman. Most of them. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you're saying is like, I don't understand why you're looking at it as if it's like the Lord is unjust. God not unjust.
So do you think it's just that if a woman is raped by a man, then she has to marry that man if he pays the bride price?
According to God, yeah. It's not about what I think or what I feel.
Okay, so it's okay for a woman to be raped
according to God.
So is it okay?
According to God and to the seed.
So you saying it's okay? So God says it's okay for a woman to be raped?
No, he not, because it's laws.
And then she has to marry.
Listen, hold on one second. Because for a man to do that act to a woman, he has to marry her.
And you think that's fair to the woman? That's protecting the woman.
No, I don't think that's fair to the woman. What protects her is the law of if that egregious act that does happen, the man has to marry her. So that law, it's like the stuff that you're saying, evil shit happen all of the time.
Do you have a daughter?
I have daughters, yes.
Okay, so if one of your daughters was raped, you think it's good, it's protection for her to have to marry her rapist?
No, I actually, according to God, but if she gets raped or something and she's betrothed, I would have to take another route. You understand what I'm saying?
No. In that part of the Bible, the woman is not betrothed. So you have are your daughters betrothed?
No.
All right. So if a man rapes your unbetrothed daughters, you would force your daughters to marry that man?
We under the law. We not under the laws of the Bible. We under the laws of the land. So this shit not applicable. You understand what I'm saying? We still have to keep the law. Everybody knows to rape a woman is wrong. Like, who would say that that's right? Or who? Well,
you just did. You just said it's right. You just said
no, I'm not, man. I'm not thinking about it emotionally. You just said don't kill.
You just said that it's okay, that it protects the woman, that God is protecting women. I
didn't say that it was okay. I said it's laws in place for the occasion if that happened. I didn't say it was okay.
You said if it's by God, it's okay by God.
Man, I said if it's written in the Bible, just like you just tried to make it seem like it's unholy or something. I said
if I could rewind this, I would.
I'm telling you what I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing wrong.
You saying something different. You're saying something different now than what you earlier said.
I'm telling you,
I said that it was I said was it good, and you said
no, it's not good.
You said by You said according to God.
Is, man, it's not according to us.
Okay.
To judge it and say, oh, this is good or this is not good.
You said, bruh, I said, is it good for a woman to be raped and have to marry the person? Stop. Let me tell you what you said. You said,
I'm trying to argue with you. Let's go to the next
point. You said according to God. So that is confirming.
It was okay.
That is confirming what my statement.
Okay. He didn't say it was okay.
He did say it's okay for the woman to have to marry her rapist.
No, he didn't say it was okay.
So the woman don't. So if it wasn't okay, then the woman wouldn't have to marry her rapist.
Listen, man, because sex binds you. According to the law, you do have to stay married forever. This is why if a man does that, he cannot just put the woman away. He can't just put her away. He has to marry her. What do you mean?
Why does he have to marry her? Why can't she just?
Because the act of sex is marriage.
So if a man rapes your daughter, then he has to marry. Then they have to get married.
Listen, according to God, if we were under the laws of the Bible, yes.
So you're not under. So you don't have to abide. So if man makes a law that goes against the Bible, you have to follow man's law, not the Bible's law.
No.
Okay, so whose law are you following?
I'm following God.
Okay, so God said that if your daughter is raped by a man and she's unbetrothed, then that man pays the bride price.
Man, and you go to jail because it's illegal to rape.
Okay, but you just said that you're not under man's law, you're under God's law. Make up your mind. Man,
the law of the land gonna put this nigga in jail if he raped my daughter. The law of God is spiritual.
So
understand it?
So you would so which law do you follow? And why are you all the time?
No, I'm not, man, because you real blasphemous, man. You need to be careful, bro.
I don't need to be careful because your God don't exist. So I ain't worried about your God. But answer the question.
Man, no, it's not that.
Are you under God's law or man's law?
Okay, look, man, fuck all that. How you get the breath in your body?
Are you under, because my parents had sex? Are you under God's law or are you under man's law? I don't know, but I can tell you this: if you cannot talk to me without insults by calling me the N-word and all that kind of stuff, then you can just push on somewhere else. Because I haven't called you a name, have I?
It don't matter.
Oh, that don't matter.
You disrespecting God, nigga. The fuck is you talking about?
You're an idiot. You just showed the ignorance. So yeah, you are. Oh, he got triggered real quick now, didn't he? He just crashed out. I know some people like to keep crash outs on their channel, but no. I know what name did I see? I think I saw that name earlier. Okay, that person's gone. I guess that he would allow his. I mean, he don't know which law he's under. Is he under God's law? Is the God that he believes in law? Whose law is he under? I don't know. Chet. Is that Chet? Chef. Shit, what are my reading glasses? Hello. What's your name?
Chef C. But it's
Chef C. Gotcha.
Yes.
All right.
I didn't even mean to join, but what is? Sorry, I'm new to this.
It's okay. Trust me, that happens more times than you can imagine.
But what is the conversation on?
I
read it, but like, is this? Do I agree, disagree, or?
Yeah, see, I think that God of the Bible hates women.
Yes, I believe the same. I recently just started my process of deconstructing from Christianity, and I've just realized, everything that you're saying, I feel like that is true.
Yep, and I agree with you 100%. That is one of the reasons why I deconstructed from the Bible. When one of the things that I recognized that I love women. So how can I worship and love a God that don't love women? Didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. I was just also on a live earlier, and we were talking about kind of like sin, not to get off topic, but the lady has said that David was one of the people who God saw right in his eyes, but David committed adultery. He also murdered people, and she said he's the only one that God that didn't sin. And I'm like, well, what is adultery and what is murder? That's sin. And so it's just like, I just feel like if you really look more deep into the Bible, a lot of stuff just doesn't make sense. And when it starts to not make sense, you have to use critical thinking and realize, like, okay, this does not make sense at all.
It doesn't, and that's why I don't really go on other people's lives who are Christian, because I'm like, y'all just don't make sense. Y'all are jumping through every hoop you can. Yes. And so I just leave me alone.
The guy that was just on, he was, to get your point across, you don't have to yell, scream, cuss, call other people names. That doesn't make you right. That doesn't make what you're saying is right because you're loud or you feel like you're insulting me. That does not make you right. How about we come with facts and have a real conversation versus getting in your feelings, smacking your lips, which is very feminine, and doing all of that. But that was just crazy. But I'm going to get off.
Okay.
But I just have to let that be known. Because like, he's doing a lot. And yes. You're supposed to be a Christian lover. That's what they don't. I mean, a Christian. You're supposed to be a Christian. You're trying to get us to believe in what you believe in, but you're going about it in a whole nother way, which is not going to make anyone believe what you believe. Because if you're going by being a Christian, the way you're acting, you're contradicting yourself. To try to get me to believe something that's going to believe.
Exactly. And he's just a crying hypocrite who crashed out. But I thank you for coming up.
Yeah.
Even though it was by accident. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one. Before I bring the next person up, this was a very weak ass comment from Rupert. I expect better out of you, Rupert. On Facebook, Rupert said, "Coach, this is the reason I never called in." Why? Because the Christian guy crashed out and couldn't have an intelligent argument and then started calling me names, and so I got rid of him. That's weak if that's your reason for not ever calling in to defend your points, Rupert. So I thought that Rupert might have been built of, I've only known him through comments, but I thought he might have been built of sterner stuff than that. Evidently not. Just lost a couple of respect points there, Rupert, on that one. And I do respect Rupert, because usually Rupert his comments are respectful in our agreements and in our disagreements. But that dude just completely crashed out. Like, I'm damn sure gonna clip that one. I'm sure gonna clip that. Just crashed out. Let's see who else is here. And the old boy was like, "I know the Bible. I know it." Yeah, I don't think you know it. Chef C, you just hit it again, just in case. I don't know if you know. You just hit the request again. Haven. Haven. Haven, are you there? Haven. Haven. I guess Haven is not there. Deborah? Hello, Deborah.
Hello.
Hi. Deborah?
Hello.
Hey, Deborah, are you over 21?
Yes. 66.
All right. How you doing? 66. Are you a believer in the Bible?
I do believe.
Okay. So do you agree or disagree that the God of the Bible hates women?
Can you repeat that? I have a little bit of trouble here.
Okay. There's a lot of noise in your background.
Yeah, I don't know how to do this because, I'm kind of new with this, digital stuff I'm learning.
It's okay.
But ask the question again. I'll listen real quietly.
So the prompt today is, I'm stating that the God of the Bible hates women. And this is purely based on what's in the Bible, not what preachers preach, but what's in the Bible.
Okay. I God hates women.
Okay. So do you think that a loving God would allow for fathers to sell their daughters into being slave wives?
Well, it's not has anything to do with God. It has to do with the father's heart.
No, it is a rule that is given in the Bible in Leviticus, where a father is allowed to sell his daughter as a slave to a man for a wife. So when God gives these rules and men follow the rules, that's not man, that's God, right? It doesn't specify.
How old is the daughter?
That doesn't matter. What does the age have to do with it? Does it matter how old a woman is if she's sold into slave wives?
She needs to be mature enough to handle the situation. You shouldn't sell young girls.
So you can sell an older girl? You can sell a 21-year-old girl into slavery as a wife? That's okay?
When you say slavery as a wife, help me to understand what it is that she must do.
She has to be his wife, have sex with him, clean up for him, feed him, have children by him, and she can never divorce him because she was sold as a slave wife.
Okay. Well, I still think that God loves women. Maybe they should have did that to me when I would still be married.
So you would be okay being sold as a slave wife so that you would still be married?
Yeah, I'm kind of like that.
So you would want all your rights taken away from you. You wouldn't be able to do anything, go anywhere other than where your husband allows you to go.
If you never done that, if you've never been able to go anywhere and do anything, you wouldn't know that you could do that.
So you saying that it's okay for a woman to be ignorant, and if she's ignorant, she can be sold as a slave wife, and she will be perfectly fine with whatever life that man gives her.
If she don't know no better.
Wow. So if she doesn't know any better, so she wants to wear her yellow dress instead of her red dress, but her husband say that you got to wear the red dress. She should just have to wear the red dress, regardless that she wants to wear the yellow dress.
Well, I think I will wear the red dress. That's what he wanted me to wear.
Okay. I guess you're okay with being a slave. So you're okay? Okay.
Well, I was a nurse for 35 years, and I feel like that's what I was, being a nurse. So.
No, being a nurse, you could quit your job anytime you wanted to, right? Could you not quit? If you chose to, if you wanted to quit at any time, you could have quit, right? If that was your desire to quit, that has nothing to do with it. If you wanted to quit, did you have the ability to quit? Could you have walked into there one day and said, you know what, I'm done, I'm not coming here no more, I'm not working for y'all no more, I'm gonna go find me another job? Could you have not done that?
I'm not gonna go find another job. I'm gonna find a job first, and then I'll quit.
Okay, so you can quit. A slave can't quit. So you were not a slave. Then you're not a slave if you can quit. But according to this Bible, if your father sold you as a slave wife, you can't quit. You can't ever quit. You don't have an option to quit. That's the difference.
Okay. Can you tell me where that scripture is so I can get my Bible and look at it?
Yes, that is Exodus 21, verses 7 through 11. Excuse me?
Okay.
Exodus 21.
So you gotta give me a minute to get my. Okay. Exodus 21. I want to read it. No, you're gonna tell me something. I need to see it.
Okay.
And what Bible are you reading from?
The New Revised Standard Updated Edition. New Revised Standard Updated Edition. And I'll go ahead and read it for you. It says that when a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. If she does not please her master, who designated her for himself, then he shall let her be redeemed. He shall have no rights to sell her to a foreign people, since he has dealt unfairly with her. If he designate her for his sons, he shall deal with her as he would with a daughter. If he takes another wife to himself, he shall not diminish the food, clothing, or marital rights of the first wife. If he does not do these three things for her, she shall go without any debt, without payment of money. So as long as he treats you like a wife, and as long as he's not dissatisfied with you, you have no choice but to be that man's wife, or his son's wife.
Okay.
So your father sells you as a slave. The man is with you. Now, as long as the man is not dissatisfied with you, you will remain his wife. If the man is dissatisfied with you, then the father can buy you back. If the man says, well, I'm maybe dissatisfied with her, but I'm going to give her to my son as a slave wife, then the man has to treat you like a daughter, but you're still a slave wife. And then if the man gets another wife, then he still has to treat you as a wife and have sex with you and feed you and clothe you. The only other way out is if the man doesn't do those things, then you can be set free. If he's dissatisfied with you and don't do the other things, then you can be set free. But your freedom is based on him. It is not based on you. So you are then a slave. And if you're reading a King James version, the King James version is going to say maid servant, which is a mistranslation because the word is slave. This is why I utilize the New Revised Standard Updated Edition. So I don't know, what version of the Bible do you have?
I have. I use the King James, and I also use the blue letter Bible.
Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be the King James. I know a lot of people are dependent upon that one, but it is a terrible translation. It has so many mistranslations in it, so many words mistranslated, and scribal comments are added to the King James version of the Bible as well. So I wouldn't use the King James. But I appreciate you being up here. I'm gonna go to some other people. So you have a great day, okay?
Okay. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you too, Deborah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow. I don't know what to say on about that one. I mean, Deborah says she's okay with being a slave wife. That's that. I might have to clip the first two people. That's just interesting me. Chef C, did you mean to hit the button this time? Did you hit it by accident again, or you hit it on purpose?
I did, but I kind of got busy at the moment, so you can take me off. I apologize.
Oh, because I really wanted to ask you what you thought about that last comment, the last caller.
Yes, can you give me like 5 seconds and can you join me back? Can go back in the comments and let you know when to join me back in? But I definitely have a lot to say about that.
Okay, I'll bring you back.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
Wow. That's unnerving to me. That she would want to still be a slave, that she would be fine with being a slave wife. That she wished her father had sold her into being a slave wife, and she still may be married. Yeah, I don't normally do clips, but I'm clipping that one. RXR 13. Oh, I guess they hit it by accident. Grips. Let's see if Grips is there. I mean, what do you guys think? I didn't get to see people's comments when she was saying that she would be okay with being sold as a slave wife. Don't be mean. She sounds like a very sweet lady. But it's on that. Because I'm gonna go flabbergasted on it. Dylan. Hello, Dylan. Dylan. I guess Dylan is. Montu says, and thank you for the flowers, Montu says, old time mentality, coach. I'm 54, she's 66. I know that's like a 12-year difference, but goddamn. Most of the women I know of that age group would not have said that at all. No. And I know that back in the day, women used to accept the bullshit of a man but that was more because of economic reasons. And then they utilized the Bible to drive home those economic reasons. But come on, man. That's crazy work. Dr. Vids. I guess his phone rang or something.
Yo.
Okay. What's your name?
Motre.
Okay, Motre. Are you over? How you doing? Are you over 21? He keeps going in and out there.
Can you hear me, brother?
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you now. Are you over 21?
Yeah, I'm over 21.
All right, good. And are you a believer in the Bible?
Yes.
Okay. Did you hear the woman who was up here before?
No, I didn't. I just scrolled by and I saw your title.
Okay. So what do you think of the title? What's your thoughts on it? Pick any subject.
We could just go with number one, being blamed for all sin. I mean, the Bible clearly states that both Adam and Eve were both blamed. And, you know, the hardship involved, I mean, it's based on your belief. Your belief system is foundation. So if you don't technically believe in the word of God and in that book, everything is going to sound like a fairy tale. So the belief system is foundational, but both had punishment for the sin.
True. Now, both did have punishment for the sin, but Eve received the greater punishment. And then Paul seconded that by saying, when he was talking about women being silent in the churches, He seconded that by saying that because was it not first Eve who was deceived and not Adam?
Correct.
So he's giving more blame to women, and that's in 2 Corinthians. He's giving more blame to Eve than he is giving blame to Adam.
Well, she was described as the weaker vessel, so that was the only reason that we, as believers, believe she was the one that was tempted to begin with. So, do you believe in how woman was created? Do you believe the rib?
No, I don't believe that.
So that will make everything that you're saying on a side of non-belief. So you can't push an opinion.
Yes, I can.
Like it's fact.
Yes, I can.
How?
Because I can utilize the information that the book states to demonstrate whether or not what they're saying is actual facts in real history, or if they're what happens in science and biology, and what the Bible is stating itself. That's just because somebody doesn't believe it doesn't mean that you can't state what the Bible says.
But belief is foundational. You believed in Santa Claus until you learned the truth.
Okay. So even knowing the truth about Santa Claus, can I state that Santa Claus comes down your chimney and gives gifts to children? Because that's what the story is.
To a child, an innocent mind, yes.
No, you're missing the point that I'm making. I don't believe in Santa Claus, but can I state it as a fact of the story that Santa Claus come down chimneys and give gifts to children?
Who's your audience?
Doesn't matter. Can I state that it is a fact that in the story, this is what the story says?
Story and scripture are two different things, brother.
No, the scripture is just a story. But that's not the point. Can I state what the story says or what the scripture says, just to get beyond this? Okay. So then so my belief doesn't matter if I can state the facts of what the story says, or the scripture, as you say, says.
But that's in the same line of grown men purchasing WWE pay-per-views, knowing the truth, still choosing to be entertained, and they know it's not, quote unquote, real fighting, next to their 12-year-old son that hasn't been broken the truth.
But the fact is, that man who knows that it's fake can still say Roman Reigns defeated The Rock. Would that still not be a true statement of what happened at that WWE event?
It would be a true statement.
Exactly. Correct. So I can state the true statements. I can state what the Bible says.
Don't believe that.
It doesn't matter if I believe it or not. If I'm just stating the story, I can state what's in the story. And
I've never heard belief system and lying all in one conglomerate. Not you, but just screwing the truth.
That's
being able to tell a story. You know what I'm saying? That's like true lies.
Did Paul not say that it was the woman who first transgressed?
Yes.
So where's the lie?
That's the truth. Yes, that's the truth.
Okay, so Paul said that. So in me repeating what Paul said, I am stating the truth that Paul said that. But if I'm afraid just as Eve was deceived by the serpent cunning, your minds may somehow be led astray. This is him putting the emphasis on Eve was the first one to be deceived.
Mm-hmm.
And not
where's your belief in that? Because you just
my belief doesn't matter. The statement is that he was saying that it was not Adam who was deceived by Satan. The woman was deceived, and sin was the result. That's what he says in 1 Timothy.
But how does that
whether I believe it or not doesn't matter. So he is saying the woman was deceived and sin was the result.
Correct.
So he is blaming Eve for being deceived and letting sin come into the world.
How does that translate to God hating women?
Oh, so it's the wholeness of everything that I put on here. It's a lot. It's all these things put together. You see a pattern, which is what I'm very good at, is seeing patterns in things. And the pattern is the further continuous treatment of women throughout the Bible.
Do you think that, and this is just along your same lines, do you believe the black man in our community treats women worse than what you believe the Bible does?
No, black men in our community do not treat women worse than the Bible does. Do black men force their daughters who are raped to marry their rapists?
You got the Bible misconstrued. You said you don't believe the word of God. You can't use scripture as a weapon.
Yes, I can. But answer the question. Why you avoid the question? Do black men?
The Bible says that, but the Bible deserves context. You can't just read a line like it's a Harry Potter book. It deserves and needs context. So you can't just blurt out scripture.
Okay, what's the context?
Paul said and Corinthians said, because it's precept upon precept. So everything lines up.
That's
Old Testament,
bruh. That's a whole bunch of word salad that every Christian somehow.
You're talking to a guy from Chicago, Illinois that made it because of his belief system.
I could care less where you're from. Where you're from don't mean nothing.
It does, because the hardship involved in each community that God is over.
Sir.
A guy from Baltimore, a guy from Detroit, they all have different stories, and everyone will attest that it's something higher than their power as a human being that made them succeed in whatever farm or whatever profession that they're in. They will all give glory to God.
No,
so in aspect,
no.
You're speaking from your perspective.
No.
Your seat doesn't represent the world.
No. I am so to utilize the same. So for one, you are avoiding my answer and question to what you stated earlier, and you don't want to answer it. Instead, you gave me a bunch of word salad that Christians seems to always context and precepts, but you can never describe the context, and you can never describe the precepts on precepts. And then you go into this I'm from Chicago bullshit. I'm from Atlanta. I grew up in some of the worst projects in Atlanta where you had to sleep on the floor. I became a successful Marine. I became a successful Marine. I became a successful business person, and I give no honor of that to your God whatsoever. I came through all of that by my damn self and my family, but never did a God intercede and do a damn thing for me over all the struggles of my life. Even when in combat, your God had nothing to do with me still being alive to this day. And you gave a whole bunch of precepts and context and all this stuff, but you don't describe them. So what is the pretext for a man? Because you asked the question, do black men treat their daughters worse than the Bible? And I said, treat women worse than the Bible. I asked you, do black men sell their daughters into slavery? I mean, do black men allow the rapist, the man who rapes their daughter, to marry them? And then you went off on this, I was born in Chicago and all this bullshit. Answer the question or get off my page. One of the two. You're muted right now. You have to unmute yourself.
My bad. I would never disrespect you with that type of language, brother, because we are two black men from the same tribe. At the end of the day, I respect what you're doing because I'm on your live. You got all the power. All I'm here to do is create a little bit of thought that may be outside. How old are you? I'm 46. Are you older than me?
I'm 54.
Okay, so you've been living this thought pattern ever since you came into understanding. The fact that Old Testament and New Testament doesn't get properly displayed to where people would use stuff like, well, do we do this? This is in the Bible, but we used to stone our children as well. We don't continuously do that. So the understanding of God's way and will, I've never claimed Christianity. I don't do religion. I'm a follower of Christ. That doesn't necessarily put me as a Christian in a church with a pastor.
My man, you're going all over the world. No, do black men force their daughters to marry their rapists?
No.
Then yes, black men do not treat. So then you agree with me? Black men do not treat their women worse than the Bible treats women.
To that degree, I do.
Okay.
But I don't see white men treating the women in their community the way we treat our women in our community, and that's just everyday life.
That's some bullshit. I know plenty of white men who treat their wives just as in the same way that black men treat their wives. And being here in San Antonio, I've seen Spanish men treat their wives the same way. There are levels to that whole thing. If you go into any impoverished area, you will see more domestic abuse going on there than you will see in a wealthy area. And if you go into a wealthy black area, you don't see the same type of abuse going on in a wealthy black area. Now, I'm not saying they don't have any abuse. They still have abuse. It's just not as prolific because they don't have the stress of finances or other conditions within the lower income neighborhoods.
I agree with that. So is man not the head of the household?
If that household deems it to be that way, then sure. It depends on the couple.
Have you been married?
I've been married, yes.
And was your wife ever the head of the household?
Not when when I used to be Christian, and we looked at it as me being the head of the household.
You used to believe the word of God.
Yeah, I used to be a Christian. I used to be a deacon of the church.
Oh, and you were a leader.
Yeah.
So what was your term from the Most High?
I studied the Bible.
And you found out what?
That the Bible is filled with a lot of inaccuracies and anachronisms, contradictions, lies.
The Old Testament does contradict the New Testament because it's different times. They're talking to different people. But when you were a deacon and you were trying to get souls to heaven, did you feel wrong?
I was struggling through it.
So did you not feel like that the sermons that you teach change lives?
Oh, I'm sure that some of them may have. Well, I know that some of them, but
from changing lives to the Bible is nothing but bullcrap.
I have changed more lives since I walked away from Christianity than I did when I was a Christian.
Now, when you say change lives, I said getting people to believe in the gates of heaven. How would you change a life in just worldly behavior?
Well, getting people to believe, I don't see getting people to believe that suffer through this life so that you can get to heaven as something that is life-changing and beautiful and wonderful. So when I was changing lives in the church, it wasn't about that. It was about making these marriages better, making these parent-children lives better, their relationships better, teaching people how to utilize the Bible for patience, for economic growth, for standing up in your community. When I taught the Bible, I taught those things, but then I did start teaching what was real and what was not. And here's the thing, there's contradictions in the New Testament, tons of them as well. So I saw those contradictions in the New Testament and I was like, no, this is bullshit.
Did you get your master's in theology though?
No.
Okay, so you don't understand context.
No, yes, I do. Are you saying that the only way that you can gain education is by going to a school?
I didn't say that.
So what does it mean having
to answer that question? But I'm saying theology does help leaders understand the word so they can be proper teachers.
Yeah, but you can get that without going to a formal school. Although I did take some formal school classes, some unorthodox formal school classes, but I did not. But going to school, that doesn't mean that's not how you get the only way to get context. And oftentimes the only context you're getting is the context that the school has decided is the context.
Correct. I mean, but that's foundational when you when you stepped into that field as a deacon.
Yeah, it's foundational.
So telling me you are a mal-educated deacon?
I was if
theology is
I was not a mal-educated. What is a mal? Describe a mal-educated deacon.
You didn't get the little punk ass certificate. You say that it ain't the only way to get the word. You didn't do that, but you were leading people to heaven, right? I
was leading people into a belief in heaven.
Correct.
Yeah, but I cannot lead anybody to a heaven because it does not exist.
You're an atheist now.
Yep.
You should lead with that. You should say, I am an atheist, and then your other shit, because that will help people like myself stay off lives like this. Because this is we would never agree because our belief system is different. Yeah. You don't even believe that the word of God is real.
No, I don't. I have no reason to.
You have an opinion about the word of God.
Yes, I do, because I'm a free agent who can.
I can. Everybody got an opinion.
But I'm going to say this. 99% of the things that I talk about are not opinions whatsoever. 99% of what I talk about are facts.
Your opinions, bro. You can't take your opinion and say, because I think this way, it's real.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, since you are more New Testament than Old Testament. Is it?
I'm all. I'm front to back.
All right.
All.
So is it an opinion or is it a fact that Matthew has Jesus being born before 4 BCE and Luke has Jesus being born in 6 CE? Is that an opinion or is that a fact?
That is a fact that they both have him doctored down in different times. That is a fact. That's not an opinion.
So I'm not on here stating opinions.
Correct.
I do my best to stay within the facts, and usually when I say it's an opinion, I will tell people this is speculation.
But what do you believe about? Well, see, you don't believe, so prophecy doesn't even exist to you.
Nah.
A lot of those stories are just folklore.
Yeah.
So what about Greek mythology? Do you believe in, like representing the stars? How people say I'm a Cancer, I'm a Libra, and all of that. Do you believe in that type of stuff?
No.
Awesome. Because those are two different spectrums of the same realm. Awesome. Well, I mean, like I said, I respect it. It's your life, and you've been a man of God. So there's literally nothing in the way for you having the opinions that you have, stating them as facts because they are written, but everything deserves context. You can walk into a room and not know something, and you can get a little information from a sermon, but if God don't put that discernment in your heart, and he gives you confirmation through the real-time living, you will always just be wondering if it's real.
Why is the context always that I get from Christians? The context is always based on how you live in and what God tells you, instead of the context of what the words actually say and mean. But if you look at words don't mean words.
Words do mean words. They have powerful meaning.
Then how
vibration from your voice speaks it out into the universe which God created for you to rule.
Then how can you change? There is no what context then is. Hold on. Can you let me finish? What context is there in what I stated earlier? A man forcing his daughter to marry her rapist. So what is the context?
Because it's the same type of context, and I'm going to answer it because I know you're going to say I'm dodging, but it's the same type of context in which God would slaughter a village of firstborn. He is the Alpha and Omega. You, as a sperm cell from your daddy's nuts, don't get to question him.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Because you have ligaments and things that he created. You are a creation. You're not a creator. We make things, but we don't create anything. We procreate from his original design. But back then, yes, it's wild to believe. But that's just how the Lord had it. If you disagree, you have free will to do so. You don't have to agree. But you cannot say that this is why I can't follow them. Back in the day, they used to do all kinds of stuff.
Understand, it is not about just being back in the day. Because in all these laws that are given in Leviticus and Exodus and Deuteronomy and Numbers, it says that these laws are perpetual and are to be forever. So
you understand that Jesus died on the cross. Christ died on the cross for our sins. Which is the law.
So but Jesus also said that you're supposed to follow the law.
You're supposed to follow the law.
Yeah.
Correct. But he died for all things.
He did not die for you to stop following He did not die for you to stop following the laws that don't fit your current mode of morality.
Nobody could. If you have to follow the law with perfection, no man can.
Zechariah did. Zechariah did. Zechariah did. Said that Zechariah was blameless.
No man was without sin.
It said that Zechariah was blameless and without sin.
He is not.
Said Job was blameless and without sin.
He is not for Christ, though.
But it said that they were blameless and without sin.
So them dying wouldn't do anything.
It hasn't got nothing to do with them dying. You said that no man can follow. You said no man can follow the law. You said
Christ claimed the blood.
You said that no man could follow the law, but yet we got two examples in the Bible where two men who followed the law in perfection. So when the Bible says that no man can follow the law, then that would be a contradiction in the Bible. Somebody's lying, right?
Two men, correct.
Somebody.
Two men out of the billions of people.
Doesn't matter.
those people dying perfectly didn't help us.
God himself, after he says all these laws, he said, these things are not hard for you to follow. So God is lying.
He said these things are not hard for you in the New Testament, right?
No, that's the Old Testament. He said after he gives his laws, he says that these things are not hard for you to follow, that you can follow these laws. So
his son still ended up having to die for man's sin, correct?
He didn't have to die, but
he had to die.
So a human sacrifice is a good thing.
That's the old way.
The human sacrifice is a good thing.
We used to take things to the altar. We used to take lamb to the altar. Blood would consecrate all sin. We don't have to offer anything anymore because Jesus died for everything. Yeah. You know this though.
That's you're not teaching me. You're just reiterating Christian talking. You reiterating Christian talking points that contradict what the Bible says. What the wholeness of the Bible says. You're contradicting.
Used to be on this side.
Okay. My belief don't matter. But what I used to do, what I used to believe don't matter. This is why I walked away from. That's why this channel is called Deconstructing Christianity. Because I deconstructed from Christianity.
I don't claim Christianity. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That comes with too much.
You may not, but you're a Christian.
That's perfectly fine. If following Christ is labeled as a Christian, then I'm perfectly fine with that. But I don't walk around saying I'm a Christian.
Okay. I understand.
At the end of the day, to all of your wisdom, because you do have it, because to refute something means you hold knowledge. You're not freestyle. And for you to even come from this side and walk away from the Lord, he did say it will be a great turning away. And I will hope that one day you will bring your life back to the Lord.
Okay, stop with all that, bro. Don't do that preaching. And every book says that there's going to be this great falling away. Man, and all right, appreciate you, man. I'm going to let some other people get up.
All right, brother.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
Dang, boss.
Need to stop really repeating what these pastors and what these apologists say. I mean, you're supposed to be able to come up and defend your statements, the Bible, the religion. Chef C.
Yes. We have a lot of points to talk about because a lot has happened.
I need my I gotta pull my cigar out. It's cigar time.
But for one, the older lady, bless her heart, had nothing disrespectful to say. It just shows you how I'm gonna say brainwashed a lot of our Black women in the community. You would rather be a slave because you are in fear that if you don't say that I'd rather be a slave, that you're gonna go to hell or you're sent. Like, it's really in fear, I feel like, because why else would you agree to being a slave just to, I guess, please God? And why would God want us even being a slave? And what I don't think a lot of people are understanding, this is not, God doesn't like women because of this or this or this and that. It's more so the whole thing. It's not just how he made Eve be the one to take the blame for it. And like he even said to God, he said that she was deemed the weakest,
the weaker vessel.
The weaker vessel.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. That's another statement right there. Why are we deemed the weaker vessel? Just even down to why are women unclean if they do this or do that? Even just how we don't have control over our own bodies in the Bible. How
no, you don't.
They tell us what we're supposed to do with our body from a young age.
If you notice that
how we're supposed to allow men to treat us any type of way, and we're not supposed to have a say so. It goes a long list of things if you really open your eyes.
Yeah. It is a long list of things that the Bible just degrades women over and over again. And that the lady who was first, Miss Barbara, the first thing that one of the things that she said was, if her father had sold her into marriage as a slave, then she would still be married. what that tells me is that she still has pain from whatever the situation of her marriage, which most likely was a divorce. So she feels pain from the divorce, and that she'd rather be a slave so that she can still be married. That was the most important part for her. It wasn't even about the Bible. It was about how she feel about being divorced.
Yeah.
And she's still carrying around that stigma and that hurt. That's why I couldn't be mean to her, because I heard that and I was like, that's why she's agreeable to being a slave.
She would rather be a slave than be divorced.
Yes. And that's a sad stigma that has been put on a lot of people, women in our society. I used to train a woman when I owned a gym. She was from a real small town, and she was taught that if she's not married and have a child by 25, she's an old maid. You remember that kind of, I don't know how old you are, but that used to be a teaching that people used to have. That the greatest thing a woman can ever be is a wife and a mother by the age of 25. That's ridiculous. And so, but the whole thing of the Bible, you got where if a woman makes a promise, her husband or her father can come and void her promise. So a woman's word has no meaning, which is echoed in the New Testament, in the Revelation, in the New Testament, in the resurrection stories, because the women who came and supposedly saw Jesus was gone, their word wasn't enough. A man had to verify it. So your eyewitness doesn't even count unless a man verifies it. You know, and that, like, and the extra punishments. Miriam gets leprosy and had to go outside the camp for some type of, she gets some type of skin disease and got to be outside the camp. But her and Aaron complained to Moses about his wife, but yet the woman is the only one that's punished. That's bullshit.
It is. It's very much bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a lot of different conversations going on. The older lady, I feel like she's just more so, you know, she's stuck in her ways in certain areas of her life. And the gentleman, I don't know how people feel like because you have left Christianity that you're lost. Why is it that I'm lost? Why is it that you're not lost?
Because
I'm not lost.
Most of the people that I've actually had longer, deeper conversations with over like years of time, I find that most of them feel that way because if someone leaves the crowd, then it's a weakness for them. They don't feel as assured about their religion. As long as the crowd is following it, they feel confident. But as soon as someone leaves, you know, why would they do that? Because now that shakes me. They may not admit that it shakes them, but it shakes them. And especially in the Black community. It's like, you can't leave and we're going to ostracize you and demonize you. He didn't do that, but most of them will ostracize and demonize you if you leave because it questions their own belief. You know? And it's sad that they can't allow for people to think for themselves.
Yes, and the fear that people try to put in you when you have your own way of thinking, that, oh, you're going to hell, or you better hurry up and get back over to the other side, or like it's just always a fear that's put into you to make you want to believe, but you're trying to make me fear my life because you want me to believe something you believe. I don't feel like, does that not seem like control?
Yeah.
Force?
It most certainly is control. You ever see the monkey experiment with the shock banana? Oh no, the water in the banana.
Yes.
And that's the mentality. You got a generation that was cold ass water or something was done to the monkeys every time they reached up for a banana. And then as they slowly remove the monkeys who experienced it, even the ones who never experienced it will still beat the shit out of a brand new monkey if he try to get that banana, not even knowing why. Almost every black person in America who is a Christian, and I got to say almost every black person in America who is a Christian, you became Christian because at some point a whip, a gun, a sword was pointed at your family's neck and they converted. They did not convert because of free will. Or if they come from Africa, colonized, they were forced into it by the by a gun. Every Spanish person, Latin person in the America, everyone in the Americas, the same treatment. And even for the European, when Rome decided that Christianity was going to be the religion of Rome in 481 by Theodosius, they were forced into it. The Britons, the Germans, the French, all of them were forced into Christianity by the tip of a spear. There's probably not a person on this planet whose family goes back to anyone who was evangelized into this religion.
And something that had like kind of triggered me is when she had asked, well, how old was the girl? And I'm like, why does it matter? It goes to show you a lot of things will get swept under the rug in church.
Yes.
Because, and that's where all these young ladies are, it's just women, a mother will allow certain things to happen to her daughter in Christianity because she feels like if there, some women are like, if God tells me this, then this is how it needs to move. Or if the pastor said this is how it needs to go. And I just feel like that how she made it seem like if she was just a little bit older, then it would be okay. It should never be okay for any of that. It
shouldn't. I wanted to curse. I wanted to yell at her when she said that, because what in the hell? Her age doesn't matter. And what she's doing is taking how we think about age and mentality today and impressing that on that time back then. But if you go back to when she was a young girl, when she was 14, 15 years old, there were women who were getting married at 15, 16 years old. And in a lot of states, that was fine. That's what made it work. Yeah. I mean, my grandmother got married she was about 15 when she got married. You know, which we would find abhorrent today in most states. Mississippi, you can still do it. But so the age thing is all based on your society. Right. Back then, it didn't matter. You can betroth someone who's young. Well, actually, I know I have people who are from India. They were betrothed before, when they was in their mother's womb. They didn't necessarily get married too much later, but their whole growing up, they already knew who they were going to marry.
That's true.
And
that's their religion. Yeah, and that's their culture.
That's their culture. You know, we would look at that crazy in the United States, but that's their culture. So when she brought up the age thing, I was just like,
I don't feel like even in your culture, you should be okay with accepting being a slave.
No matter what. No culture should accept that. And especially in today's time, when we know we have a fully greater understanding of slavery and our morality has went beyond that, why would we still allow any type of slavery?
But it's sad to see that a woman will go against you're taking up for women right now. Like, you are trying to have women be more aware of what they are believing in, and they would rather defend to go through cruelty and everything just to defend it. Is just crazy to me.
Yeah,
I don't know. That was just crazy. She would rather be a slave than to, I guess, go against God.
Yeah, and she just willing to give up all her agency. Did you hear when I asked her about if your husband says they want you to wear the red dress, but you want to wear the yellow?
Stop wearing the red dress.
Because she was trying to say that, if you're ignorant of, like, I'm in San Antonio, if you're ignorant of Atlanta, then, and you wouldn't want to go to Atlanta, you don't know about Atlanta. So if he tells you can't go to Atlanta, that's fine, because you're ignorant of it. So that's why I brought it to something that she would know. You got a yellow dress and a red dress. And she's still saying that she would wear the red dress. Now, if my wife came home and said, we're going to go out to the cigar lounge tonight, and I want you to wear this shirt, depending on how she said it, I may wear it just to please her. But if my wife, and she knows this, if she comes home and she got two matching shirts and she like, I want you to wear these matching shirts, we're going to wear these matching shirts, I'm like, no, the hell we not. You can wear it. I'm not wearing it. Unless it's some kind of theme party that's a husband-wife couples party and you got some funky little shirts. Other than that, no, I'm not doing that. I don't do the matching shirt thing. That's bullshit. That's crazy work to me.
but it just shows me that back then women accepted a lot and would deal with so much because that's what they're taught in the Bible and in church to, you know, kind of like shrink yourself and just listen to what a man has to say, and the man is leading and we have to follow the man's lead and everything is about the man. Do I believe a man can be a leader? Yes, but I don't feel like that can be the only leader. Women can lead too. And I just feel like Christianity just kind of like makes a woman feel like she's, like he said, the weaker vessel. And why do we have to be the weaker vessel? We bear children.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's really just playing on physical strength. That's it. That's the only thing that they're playing on. And when you're looking at cultures that were hunter-gatherers and agricultural, that works. In our industrialized society, that's become less and less. There are still a few industries where that matters, but in most industries, that don't matter at all. And because of how we live today, and I started to get into that, but I'll get into it a little bit here because he asked about my particular marriages. The first time I was married, I was still Christian. I had that mentality. I'm the head of the household. I'm the man, right? So I felt like all the man shit I had to do. One of those man shit was the finances. Well, back then I sucked at finances, to be honest. I was terrible.
Right.
I hate paying bills. I feel like electricity should be free. So I paid at the last minute, but because, you're forgetful, I forget, lights get turned off, and then here I am rushing to get them turned back on. I was doing that so much, irritating the hell out of my wife at the time. That caused problems. It wasn't until later when I became single and, I got the kids with me. I didn't have, she had primary, but when that shit happened, when I had the kids and it's just me and the kids, that's when it hit me. And so I then became better at finances, but I still recognize I'd rather not do them. So I give those over to my wife. Let me say my current wife, even though that joke don't work on her. I'd rather she pay the bills. I don't like paying bills. Now I'm much better at the finances, but if I had to just say, okay, here, this is the bills. And I got a technique that I use. This is the technique I use. This is the budget format. Utilize this budget format, but I need you to run it because I don't like doing it. And then there are certain other things in our lives where she's better at it than I'm at. So why would I try to be a man lead over that? Let her do it if she's better at it. Right. And that's the thing that's stupid when you try to do this. Who's the head of the household? Who leads? It's about respecting one another and looking at who got talent in what areas and following those talents, utilizing those. I got a guy who he was a basketball coach. His wife became a surgeon. Should they live based on his basketball coach money or live on the surgeon money? And if you being I'm the man, you're going to find me the surgeon who's going to live on the basketball money. Find me that dude. Find me that woman. That's stupid. Anyway. Oh, it's her phone clicked. But I appreciate you, Chef C. I know you're doing something right now. Your phone clicked off. But I'll catch up to you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Say what happened?
Oh yes, I was still listening.
Oh, okay.
But like a lot of women in the church, I feel like sometimes they will even pass up a good man because he doesn't follow the guidelines of the Bible. And like you said, it's just all about finding the traits in a person who's better at this so we can become one and get this done efficiently. It's not always about, because sometimes your man may not be a good provider, but he can be great in every other aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can hold that weight while he's working on that, because there's going to be things that a woman is not 100% great at. It's just all about finding a balance. But the Bible shows this is how you're supposed to be. This is how it's supposed to be. And if it's not like that, then it's not equally yoked. And then here you go. You're trying to be something that you're not, or you're not good at. And that's where relationships fail.
Exactly. That's how it should go. I was with a woman who I cook better than her. So who do you think did the cooking? I wasn't eating her shit.
You
And I mean, say her shit, because she was a black woman who didn't know how to use seasons right. So I was like, nah, I'm cooking because I don't like your food. Mine tastes better than yours. So I'm doing the cooking, you know. And some men would look at that as, oh, that's a woman's job. That's bullshit. You know.
And someone made in the comments that Jesus did not teach us to degrade women. All over the Bible it did. And several, I don't know what your terms of degrading is.
Well, he was degrading. Go ahead.
They were being degraded so many times. So I'm not understanding what they mean by we weren't taught to degrade women. What is your terms of degrading? Because just like the other woman said, she'd rather be a slave. So some people's degrading levels, that like how old does she have to be? Some people's degrading levels aren't as high as mine, because degrading is having to be a slave. That's degrading. Mm-hmm.
Well,
being called unclean, that's degrading.
Do you know the story when the part of when Jesus is talking to the Canaanite woman and he calls her a dog? And
no, I have not.
Yeah, so there's a part. I don't know exactly where it's at, but the Canaanite woman comes up to Jesus and she's like, you know, please heal my child. And Jesus is like, he says, why? I came here for the children of Israel. Why would I give the bread? Why would I give the bread of the master to the dogs? And so he's calling this woman a dog. And then the woman is like, well, even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. So only once, and then he's like, oh, woman, you got great faith. Okay, I heal your child. So he only heals the child after the woman accepts that she's a dog compared to the Israelites. So
that sounds degrading to me.
Yeah, that is degrading as hell, calling this woman a dog and allowing her to admit she's a dog.
And people are going to say, you're just reading it out of context. What's more context do you need?
So when they say context, all they mean is you need to read it with the explanation that a pastor or an apologist give you so that you can do the mental gymnastics to make it okay.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, they're like, oh, no, the woman had great faith. And because of her faith, Jesus was just testing her faith. Mm-hmm. You going to test her faith by calling the woman a dog?
And why do we have to be tested so much?
Yeah, exactly.
You can let someone else talk.
Okay. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you. I know his name's Chef C. I don't know his name. What's she chefing? Whew. There's a lot of people who wanted to come on. I don't know who's all still here. I have no idea what order that all these came up. I'm just going to click on, I'm just touching all, I'm just choosing all over the place. No particular order. Shit. A key? 6 a key? 6S? What's your name? Sound like he's walking. I think the phone's in his pocket. Yeah, we had pocket noise. Josh Quan.
Hello. Yes, sir. Shaquan.
Shaquan. Okay, thank you. Oh, you're over 21, Shaquan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And are you a believer in the Bible?
Yes. I just recently got into the faith, but yes, I'm a believer.
Okay. So
I'm reading your prompt. I'm so sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Oh no. So I would ask when you say that God hates women.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to know if you could explain it to me because I just jumped in not too long ago.
So when you look at the treatment of women throughout the fullness of the Bible, the overwhelming majority of time, women are looked upon negatively, are treated as property, treated as slaves, don't have the ability to give witness, considered unclean, receive extra punishments for the same thing that a man does. They are A woman can be, if a woman is a POW, she can be forced into being a wife. So
Yes.
all these different things add up to a conclusion that the Abrahamic God just does not like women.
Like I said, sir, I cannot spew facts off as well as you can. I feel like if I try to go to like a verse or something like that, you could read that shit back to me. I apologize for cursing. You could read that back to me like the back of your hand. You know what I mean, sir? So, I would disagree, obviously, because I'm a believer, right? I would say that, I understand how a lot of this stuff is in the Bible, and I don't want to go to what you said is one of the things that believers like to do is say that people take the words out of context or do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But being that I'm a little bit younger than you, I go off a lot of human experience, and a lot of people, like even now, right? Like different believers take the words of God, pervert them, and do what they want to do. So my question to you, sir, would be like, how much of that is on man's actions itself versus the words of God itself? That would be one of my first questions.
So everything that I put up here in any extra things that I talk about are laws and rules that either God did or they were inspired teachings by God, by this God. So it's nothing that man has done.
Okay. So like I said, I can't refute anything from the past. So now if you're saying that God hates women based off the things that were done before, would you still say that God currently still hates women?
Yeah, because the books hadn't changed, right? The book, I mean, the God is supposed to be God. His word is supposed to be his word throughout all time. So his word. So here's the thing. The Bible doesn't, even though, yes, people have added things to the Bible and all this other sort of thing. And there's some terrible translations like the King James Version. The Bible in itself and most of its teachings pretty much remains the same for the most part, even though there are plenty of contradictions. But the culture of man has changed century after century after century, and every century man teaches the same parts of the Bible, but teach it differently based on whatever culture they're in.
Okay.
So like women weren't allowed to vote in the United States based on how those generations perceived the Bible. But then as we went through women's suffrage and civil rights and all that kind of stuff, people reread the Bible and changed the meanings, and oftentimes the same damn verses, to give it a different meaning based on our culture.
Yes, sir.
Not based on what the Bible is actually saying.
Yes.
Right.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was gonna ask, so nowadays most people, I would say that society itself is moving more away from the Bible and its teachings and how people follow it. Would you agree on that, sir?
Oh yeah, most certainly. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I think is a good thing.
Would you say, I have two questions behind that. Would you say that women are the happiest that they've ever been? And then would you say that women are making better choices, better life decisions, and ultimately happier without following this book?
Yes, I would.
If you don't mind me asking, sir, I would just like to hear why, if you don't mind me. Oh, and I'm sorry. Somebody in the comments said read the book that you're choosing to believe, which I agree with. But I just got into faith not too long ago. Okay. I was interested by the topic.
Yeah. Don't pay attention when we talking. Just talk. Let's focus here. The thing about it is that women, either through rereading, either through changing the doctrine of the Bible, if they still remain Christian, but their rereading goes against what the Bible actually says. So they're actually, like you said, moving away from the Bible, even when they still claim that they believe the Bible. Now, for the women who have completely walked away from the Bible, they find more happiness. And the reason why I say this is because they have agency. The simplest way to put it is they now have more agency over their life than they ever had in the past. So they can choose their own pathways of their life without having to bow down to a God or man.
Yes. And
they can, if they want to go into higher education, they can. Whereas the Bible kept them out. The Bible and man kept them out of it. If they want to have a baby, they can choose whether or not they want to have a baby. If they choose to have sex and explore their sexuality, they can now explore their sexuality. They can choose. Women get to choose who they marry and not be forced into a marriage. So because they have more agency, the more they get away from this Bible, women are generally happier.
So my question would be that if bad decisions are made, right? If they're given all this freedom, and first of all, like, let me say, like, I'm just like you. I cook better than my lady. I don't want to eat what she cooks. If we cooking something, I'm cooking it. Like, I don't think a woman should just bow down on her knees to me. You know what I mean? But my question would be like, if they make these terrible decisions, right? If they get pregnant by a terrible guy, they marry a guy who beats them or whatever. If they was following Christ, you know, like, based off this conversation and what I'm hearing from other people, like, that's a problem of God and trying to follow and fulfill what God does. But if they do their own thing and it doesn't work out now, is that because they didn't follow the Bible, or do you get what I'm trying to say? I don't know if I explained that the right way.
I'm not sure if let me.
Okay, so
no, I'm not sure if you
explained. Like, if it doesn't work out and they're following God, God is the problem. If they take things into their own agency and it doesn't work out, it's like, is it just like, oopsie, it didn't work out, or you get what I'm trying to say?
No, I understand what you're trying to say.
Okay.
I'm thinking I get what you're trying to say. In the church, so I've dealt with a lot of the situation that you was talking about when I was in the church, where you got a woman, she marries a man, the man turns out to be abusive, right?
Yes.
Now, mind you, that abuse is going unspoken more so than it is spoken. So you got a lot of women in the church who's getting their ass whooped right now. And you got some men who are getting their ass whooped right now, but they're just not saying it. And you know, as a man, you damn sure ain't gonna say it because of the embarrassment, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, I had a friend, his wife was whooping his ass, but it wasn't until they got divorced that I found out that she was whooping his ass. Because he would never tell me. And he still denies it to this day. I just got proof that she was whooping his ass. But anyway, so men, it's a double standard. Men can't really come out and say that. But anyway, in the church, when that happens, usually the church try to pray about it, try to keep the couple together. But then ultimately, when it fails, they're like, well, God didn't approve that marriage anyway, or that he was outside of God's will, and so on and so forth. Yeah. And so they blame the man. They never blame God when it happens in the church. When you're outside the church and that happens, the beautiful thing is people take responsibility. And I've seen women who have walked away from the church. Well, not seen. I know. I have counseled. I've coached women who went through multiple abusive relationships and finally realized it's me. For some reason, I keep choosing. As this one lady said, my picker is off. So she realized she needed to go back into herself to figure out why she keeps being attracted to these dudes who are overly aggressive and abusive. And it came down to the fact that she watched her grandmother be abused by her grandfather. And although she hated it, she fell into finding men who were just like her grandfather because that was her primary male role model when she was growing up. Yeah. So we spent about a year working through that process to get her to recognize those red flags and so that she wouldn't do it again. And she's been married now for about 7 years to a great guy who is not abusive, but he ain't a weak bastard either. Like sometimes people go and jump with somebody that they can dominate. Yeah. Because they were dominated like that. But
makes sense.
She found the happy space. But yeah, people in the church, they're never going to blame God. They're going to blame the man, or they're going to blame man, period, as a social group for anything that goes that we see morally wrong. Yeah. Like when a pastor steals from the church, they don't blame they blame man. But go ahead. You about to say something?
Oh yes, sir. But I agree with what you just said. What was I going to say? The last lady, Chef C, I believe that was her name. I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, that was it.
I heard her made a point. I didn't really agree with it. It was more so where you guys were talking about the weaker of the two and things like that. And me personally, I can understand how if me and you were in a room and someone said I was the weaker one, I can understand how that's disrespectful. I'm not trying to play down or anything like that. But between men and women, obviously you said yes, we are physically stronger. But me personally,
I've been working around 10 years. I've been in management. I've had to tell people what to do. I've had bosses above me, male and female. And one consistent theme I can personally say, just my personal life, is that in those leadership positions, women get a little frazzled a little bit quicker. I'm not saying women can't lead. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying women can't handle and do certain things. I just think that men are mentally in certain areas we are meant to lead, and like you said, in certain areas women dominate. So you should allow a good leader would allow his woman to excel where she excels. So I just wanted to say, like, in the conversation that you guys had, unless I'm mistaken it, and if I was, you can correct me, but it just sounded as if it was more of like, hey, guys are the leaders, girls don't have to do anything. And when in reality, how I take it is, if I'm following God, the best thing I can do for my house, if I'm going to flourish, is let my lady excel where she excels, and I'll lead where I can lead. If I don't know how to do something, it makes me, like, to me, that's just dumb if I try to take over and be like, I'm the man of the house and I'm the head of the household. You know what I mean?
No, I understand what you're saying.
And from what I've read out the Bible, I never read anywhere where it explicitly states like, hey, if you're the head of the household, you must handle X, Y, Z by yourself. Like once again, if I'm wrong, I'm open to being corrected.
Well, the Bible doesn't explicitly say that. It gives jargon like if a woman makes a business deal,
yes, sir.
but the business deal is a promise. If the woman makes a promise that you have within 3 days, if the husband or the father can come and say, no, that's not going to work. We're not doing that. So women don't have the ability to make promises in business transactions or any kind of promise unless it goes 3 days and now the promise is solidified because the husband didn't say anything. If a woman is a witness to anything, her witnessing something is not validated unless a man comes and validate whatever she claims that she witnessed. And you got that in that's part of your resurrection story with Matt, especially in the John version of it. There is, wait a minute, somebody's going by my garage with a leaf blower or something. Yeah. The other type of instances is even when a woman can inherit the land and animals from her father, she can maintain that until she gets married. But if she marries someone outside the tribe, then she loses all of her inheritance. So she's forced to marry someone within her tribe in order to maintain her inheritance. So although the Bible does show where there are some women who have made money, or like Martha, she runs a household. Martha is doing her thing. Martha remained unmarried so that she didn't fall prey to the Levitical laws. Well, it's a Deuteronomy law. The Deuteronomy law of you got to marry another person in his tribe in order to maintain your wealth. Okay, but that's just one woman. So there are examples of that, but there's that catch that goes along with it. Now, you are a product. How old are you again?
I'm 28, sir.
You're 28. So you're a product of now. Women and men in leadership is completely different now than it was back in the day. Back in the day, women couldn't get into positions of leadership because it was deemed that their minds were weak. They couldn't hold authority. They were too emotional and so on and so forth. Now, I'm not stupid. Biologically, men think more logically. Women tend to think more emotionally. That's across the board. That's but it's a generality. Because depending upon the environment that you're in, depending upon how you were raised, depending upon a whole bunch of other variables, any individual woman can lead without having emotion overrun their thought process. And when I do teach leadership, I always tell men, yes, you have a general idea to think logically, but you need to learn how to utilize your emotions properly, because sometimes thinking pure logically makes you into an asshole and you make a bunch of bad decisions. And I would tell the women, I know there's a tendency to think with your emotions, something happened and your emotions can take over, but you need to learn how to shut those damn emotions down to a certain point so that you can think through a process logically. So anybody can learn how to lead from whatever their situation is.
Understandable. I completely agree with that, sir.
And me as a man, I had to learn. The Marine Corps taught me to lead through, rawr kind of situation when I first came into the Marine Corps. It's just all like, ah. But when I got to a headquarters command, I had to learn how to lead with some emotion involved to be able to see the whole picture more fourth dimensionally than just it being some binary situation. And then when I became a civilian, I hated all you civilians. All y'all sucked. So leadership is a learned thing. No one's born a leader. No one group got it on lock. It's all about learning how to become a good leader.
I definitely agree with that. I only brought up the point of because, like you said, we only have our personal experiences to go from. You know what I mean? So I'm just giving my life experience and just trying to say, hey, from what a consistent theme I personally noticed was that. But what you said is 100% right, because there are women who were in leadership positions who were 100 times better than me as a supervisor. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. I completely agree. I don't want to waste too much more of your time. I feel like there's more knowledgeable people. I did want to ask one more question, if you don't mind. If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. You call me up one more time, I'm gonna come through this phone.
I apologize. I was gonna say something that you put in the chat sometime to see. You put faith is coping and religion. I'm sorry, you said something like faith. Usually when I'm here, sometimes it says like faith is coping and something else about like your God doesn't. It's something like that. If I'm remembering right, I don't want to misquote you.
Oh, I think that's the algorithm doing that, because sometimes it comes up and based on the conversation that I'm having, it'll put a summary in there of the conversation. So that's not me putting it in there, but I have said that faith is coping.
Oh yeah, I wanted to actually talk to you about that really fast before I go. I wanted to say like, so you see no good reason for faith itself? Like does faith just not have a place and in terms of being a human? Because basically, like you said, there was an experiment with monkeys. They beat the shit out the monkey. They beat the mess out the monkeys.
Right.
And they couldn't climb up the tree. And then eventually that trauma got passed down and they didn't let anybody go up the tree, even if they wasn't there initially.
Right.
There was another experiment with a rat or a mouse that was swimming in like a little beacon. They did. I don't remember how long it was swimming before, maybe like an hour, maybe 45 minutes. But they did it again, and they gave the rat like a break, or they gave it like some cheese or something afterwards, and they ran the test again. And the rat ended up swimming in there from 1 hour the first time to the next time it was 17 hours, just because it had faith that it was going to come get help again. So I'm not sitting here saying that faith is the ultimate leading thing. I think a lot of people fail in debates with you because you're extremely logical and knowledgeable. Meanwhile, they're coming from a place of feeling of faith. Okay. Do you feel like faith itself has a place in humanity itself? Because sometimes it feels like you're just like, yo, faith has no place. You know what I mean?
I understand. But repeat the rat one again, the experiment. Because I'm going to look this one up. It sounds interesting.
Yeah. So I wish I had the exact video to tell you what it was. But I remember I saw this rat with like this little test tube. And they wanted to see how long it would survive. It stopped swimming after around 45 minutes to an hour. Don't put me on the time, but it wasn't that long.
Gotcha.
They took it out, they put it back in there, and they basically let it kind of figured like, okay, I'm going to get help this time. Hey, I'm going to get food this time. So they put it back in the test beacon, and it swam for about 17 hours. Strictly, like, not strictly off the faith. Like, it's not like the rat said, hey, I had faith that they were going to come save me, so I swam for 17 hours.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, in this experiment, they put the rat in there, they let it swim for as long as the rat will swim. Then once this rat finished swimming, they fed the rat, right?
Yeah, they fed it.
Yeah. Then when they put the rat back in the water, the rat just kept on swimming and swimming and swimming a longer period of time. Yes, and it swam longer this time. And then they took the rat out and they fed him again. Right?
Yes, sir.
All right. That's not faith. That's conditioning. That's reward conditioning. That's if I do this thing, I'm going to get rewarded for it. So the next time I go out and do it, I'm going to do it, and I can do it longer because I know there's a reward at the end because they've experienced the reward. If they had never experienced the reward, then there might be something to it. But that's reward-based conditioning in that instance.
I guess the question came from like if I'm a believer, right? And say if my bills is due this month, you know what I'm saying? And I place a parlay, I place a bet or something like that, right? And it wins. And then let's say next month I'm in the same exact situation.
Yep.
And I do the same thing again, right? And it works. My question is, it's like, how does someone who's a believer say, okay, that's condition based thing? Like you said, I don't even know the word you said.
Well, that's see, this is where there's the law of cause and effect. If you that was a terrible example, by the way, okay, because it doesn't help you're not, well, I understand you're not really trying to make a hard-coded point, but if you place the parlay, generally you place that parlay based on a certain amount of information.
Yes, sir.
And then you win. And then the next month you place a parlay again based on a certain amount of information and you win again. That's not faith. You've learned the technique. You've learned that that's cause and effect. So like for me, I do play craps when I go to a casino. I play craps because I've learned how craps work, and I've learned how I will watch people roll and see how these people roll, because every roller is different. And after I've watched them roll around or two, then I get involved with the game, because now I know when to bet heavy, when to bet light, and generally I win. Like I've only went to a casino one time and lost, and that's only because I know that you don't play craps without at least $700 to $1,000 to start with. If you start below that, most likely you're gonna lose all your money because you got to learn the table. The one time that I only went up there with like a couple of $100 and I was really just showing somebody how to play the game, I lost my money, but I know the technique to win. So there's no hope involved there. And the thing about it, if we were to learn cause and effect, we wouldn't have to have hope. We wouldn't have to have faith in anything that we deal with on earth materially, because we would know there's a cause and effect for everything. You didn't get the check in the mail because God blessed you. You got the check in the mail because you've overpaid your taxes this year on your mortgage or your rent, your insurance on your mortgage. And so by law, they have to give you a refund check.
Yeah. So
the check, it might have came when you needed it, as they like to say, but it was coming even if you didn't need it.
Yeah,
right. So it's just there's cause of it. Now there is mentalism. There's a positive. We are all energy. Energy goes around. Your mind thinks of shit, and other people's mind connects with what you're thinking. That's why you've driven past a place and be like, man, that'll be a good spot for this type of restaurant. And then 6 months later, somebody put that damn restaurant right there. And you like, damn it, I knew it. You ain't the only one having that thought. That we've done experiments to show where thoughts do travel. And there's an Okinawan monkey experiment, like we in the monkeys today, I see. There's an Okinawan monkey experiment where these monkeys, the same type of monkeys, one was in Japan, one was in Okinawa. One of the monkeys started washing their food, and then the same monkeys in Okinawa, after about 6-8 months later, they start washing their food as well. Right. So your thought waves travel. And it's nothing but energy. Everything is energy. And you pick up on these things. That's why I always tell people in business, you have an idea, you better hurry up and do it, because somebody else got the same damn idea in the same place.
Yeah, that's why Michael Jackson said he didn't like sleeping past 3 or 2 a.m. because if he didn't make a song, Prince would make it.
I never heard that, but that's right in that same kind of thought process. So when we think about, so you got cause and effect, and then you got mental energies that obviously are traveling and people are picking up on it. So you better get with it. And nobody has an original idea. I mean, the light bulb was created by 2 different people in 2 different places at the same time. So was the car. The car was the same way. And these people had no contact with each other. So there's no need for faith. The only thing is that we have that I think is okay is you can hope for something. But generally, hope is you're hoping something that you're committing action to actually happen. I was gonna remind my wife today, because some things just happened in our life over this last week. About a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, I told her something that I'm going to do. And I told her, I ain't worried about it, because money just seems to come to me without me having to really force the issue. You know what I'm saying? Like I get business opportunities all the time, but I can say that to her because I think about business all the time. I put that energy out there. I talk to people about business all the time. Just talking about business. I had a guy come up to me a year ago saying, man, I want to open up a cigar lounge with you and I'm going to provide all the money. Now, unfortunately, he wound up getting some stage 4 cancer and he disappeared. And so I moved on without him. But being the person I am, shit like that just happens all the time. Right? There's no God that's doing that. That's just that's just me being me.
I want to say everything you said, it makes complete sense. And I'm not trying to refute it. The only point in that I would try to refute is on the gambling point when you were saying it's more strategic and strategy. I guess it's just a different side because I do more sports. So like, for instance, right, like when I bet on the Knicks to beat the Spurs, they were down by 39 points. It felt like God was on the court with them. And I know, but that's not a real thing. But I'm just saying, like it does feel as if, like, in my life, having faith in certain things and certain opportunities and things that I do, keeping that type of positivity or just knowing that it happened.
My guy.
It just feels as if it makes things come to fruition.
No,
like I said,
see, let me tell you the bullshit that you just tricked you look, he just tricked his own mind in that one situation, because the games prior to that, you may have not noticed it. You may have not fully noticed it. So I ain't gonna say you knew it, because a lot of people didn't pay attention to it. Because if I don't do sports bets. If this joker don't stop coming by my garage, hold on for a second. Right here. Man, he better go on with that damn machine. Why is he still by my garage? All right, let me just go ahead. All right, because I think he's next door. The garages are close to each other. So anyway, because San Antonio's my second team. The Atlanta Hawks are my number 1 team, but San Antonio's my second team. Now, and I want you to use this next time you're doing sports betting. Okay.
Gotcha.
If you watch the first couple of games, every time Wemby goes out the game, one, he's tired as hell. He couldn't stay in the game as long as he should have. The second, when he goes out the game, that's every time he did, they made a run on their ass, especially once you get to the end of the second quarter, third quarter, and the fourth quarter. They would make runs on him every time Wemby goes out the game. It didn't matter how far ahead them jokers were. Wemby out the game, little fella was all up in the paint like he was owning shit. Right? Townsend was in the paint like he owned shit when Wemby's out the game. Wemby, if he don't go and do some serious cardio during this offseason and during the season, they gonna have the same damn issue that they had last year. So you may have felt like God was telling you because they were down, and you might have jumped on whatever you utilize to promote whatever you utilize for your gambling. But whether it clicked in the front of your brain or not, but at least in the back of your brain, you've seen the story happen already a couple of times.
Yeah, I see where you're coming
from. And that's the thing. That's the hard part about when people say go with your gut. Oftentimes it's not your gut. It's the pattern that your subconscious mind has recognized. And that's what your gut is telling you. But it's really something you've recognized. You just don't piece it together and know it in the forefront. But that's the difference between professional gamblers and non-professional gamblers. They see those patterns and they can follow those patterns. Right?
Like elite pattern recognition. Got you.
Yeah. And you just had a moment where your pattern recognition kicked in, and and yeah, I'm gonna go to the length of saying you said God was telling you, but that was your pattern recognition kicking in. And if you can hone that pattern recognition, hell, you might be able to quit your job one day. Even though I would never quit a job on gambling. Fuck no.
Oh, no, never, sir. But I want to say I really appreciate the conversation. I'm still a believer, but the things that you talk about and how you talk about them makes me think, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
No problem. This was a great conversation. You're respectful the whole time, unlike the first person I talked to. So I don't mind talking to you.
Yes, sir. I'll be back and join another live for a fact.
All right. Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
There we go. That was a good conversation. Oh, McTime had asked, why did I have, so if you're on YouTube, you would have saw that I utilized the image where the Bible says that if a woman and if a woman is married to a man and her husband is fighting another man, as long as if the woman, and this is so unfair in the Bible, this is some bullshit. The woman helps her husband out who's getting his ass whooped. But if she hits the other man in the nuts, touches his genitals, after the fight, you cut the woman's hand off. And I want you ladies to think about that. Your man getting his ass whooped. There's four vital areas when you're defending yourself. Okay, it's the nose, the eyes, the throat, and a man's nutsack. And the Bible is saying if you hit a man in the nuts, your hand should be chopped off. And it only says that about a woman. Doesn't say that about a man. A man could go nut punching all he wants. It's okay. You can punch all the nuts. And I think that is like one of those ridiculous things because it's protecting a man's ability. One, it's saying that a wife should never touch another man's genitals. So the man is trying to is like, this is my woman, my property. She can't touch another man. And then the other part, it is saying that a man's genitalia is so important for him to be able to produce children that you got to make sure that you don't injure, daddy's big old nuts. Stupid. And and I love when people say, well, what's the context? There's no context other than two men fighting, husband and wife. Wife gets involved, hits the man, touches the man's nuts, chop off her hand. There's no context for that. There's no precepts upon precepts for that. Okay, we got Mama Earth 1. Mama Earth 1. It sounds like a radio call. Like, Mama Earth 1, Mama Earth 1. Do you read? There you go. Did you mean to click on it? Hello? Mama Earth 1.
TikTok be like if you usually go into the panels, TikTok will kind of just put you on panels.
Oh.
Because I've been watching I was just watching and listening.
Okay.
I'm just watching and listening to what you're saying. You deconstruct it. So what do you believe in now? Do you just kind of
I can barely
just free will?
Can you speak up a little bit? Do I believe in what?
What do you believe in now?
Well, I don't.
What do you believe in now?
Yeah, so I don't believe in any religion or any gods. I believe you make decisions for your life. You live your life. Hopefully you live a great life. And when that life is over, it's over.
How does that work? How do you deal with stresses in life?
Well,
how do you deal with problems in life? Like
I handle them.
Things are hard. How do you deal with that?
I figure out a way I figure out what the root cause of the problem is, and then I go and fix it. I see what the results are. If I get the results I desire, then I go ahead and continue my life. If I don't get the results that I desire, I go back, reinvestigate the information, make a plan, follow the plan, and see what result I get.
Wait.
So, like if, let's see, I don't have many problems, so I'm trying to think of a problem. I haven't had many problems. So when I was running two businesses at the same time, Amazon came in, they start paying everybody $20 an hour. I lost all my employees. And so that's an issue. So for a few months, I had to run back and forth, running 2 businesses at the same time that required people. So that meant I had to get up earlier. I had to get all the products ready for people to buy and sell. I had created a system where I can, when I needed to be in any one of the spaces, I was there. And I did that until I was able to hire some employees who were looking for $20 an hour. And when I did, I trained those people, and then I went back to being able to run the business I wanted to be at most of the time, while the other ones were being ran by the employees. So it was a problem. I created a plan for it, handled it. It wasn't fun, and then it resolved itself.
I don't know if I go back and forth. I go back and forth. And stuff. But when there's a problem I don't know how to fix myself, I go back to praying.
Yeah. So
that's how I grew up. That's what they taught me. And my mom told me that because she believes in Jesus Christ, I'm supposed to believe in it too.
And that's how most people are. Most people, they were told to believe in something, and so they believe it. And then they were told that when they face challenges, that they should just pray about it. And I have found that most people who just pray about it, the issue doesn't resolve itself. You just get comfortable living in that misery. Right?
So what do I do then?
If you can't figure it out yourself, then you can do what many of my clients do, which they have hired me, or find somebody else who knows what to do in those type situations, or know how to help you through it. And then you go through the process of resolving that issue. So, like, what's one of your problems that you're going through right now? And if you can speak up a little bit, I appreciate it.
Well, I'm going through a divorce situation. So I've never really been on my own like that. So, and I don't really know how to manage stuff on my own.
Okay.
So I just don't know what to do.
So you're definitely going through the divorce. The marriage is broken, right?
Yes.
All right. And you've never had to handle all the bills and take care of the household and all that sort of thing on your own? Do you work?
Not with the amount of children that I have.
Okay.
So
do you work?
Kind of like, I'm looking for work right now.
Okay. So you got kids, and what income will you have coming in?
Well, I was working for Amazon, but I got let go. So I do have a little money in the 401k, but it's not enough to be on my own yet.
Mm-hmm. So is the soon-to-be ex-husband, he's going to be paying child support, alimony, any of those things?
I don't know.
So have y'all filed divorce papers?
Yeah, we did. We were supposed to come to an agreement, but we haven't. But you know, the court they postponed it. I guess they sent somebody over to talk to our children and stuff. I wanted to do joint custody, 50-50 custody. But I wanted to split the household stuff, but
okay. So if you're going to do 50-50 custody, where they live with you 50% of the time, live with him 50% of the time?
Well, I was like thinking like we could do 4 days. I do 4 days, he do 3 days, and then some weeks if he needs to change that, we can change that. So I want to be flexible, but he wants full custody. But so that's where that's when I revert back to praying, because
okay,
I don't know what to do.
Praying is not going to bring you the answer. So I would suggest that you get a lawyer, and I know that's an extra expense, because you need to have it within your divorce decree that who's going to have custody of the children. Now, if he has primary custody of children, you're not going to get any child support. If you have primary custody, you'll get child support. After you have to file for child support. If y'all are doing 50-50, in most states, you're not going to get child support. So
yeah, but I don't care about child support. You know what I mean? That's not what I want. I just want I just want some of my stuff that was taken, like some of my investments and stuff. I just want those back.
Okay.
I don't want it. It doesn't have to be a war, you know, because I'm not like that. I'm not really a combative, a war person. That's not my personality type.
All right. So this is what you need. You need to get a lawyer. He thinks that he can take it. It sounds to me like he recognizes that you're a peaceful person, to put it that way, that he can take advantage of you. So I would suggest that you get a lawyer who's going to fight for what your best situation is going to be. And then in the meantime, of course, you're going to find a job. But do you have a budget? Do you have a structured budget that you follow? Like you can pull it up, you can look at it, you can say, okay, these are all my bills. This is the due date that they're getting paid. This is what my bills are. And this is how much money I have coming in. And this is how much I will have left over after everything that is paid. This is what I can put into savings. This is what I can put into investments. Do you have a structured budget like that?
No.
You can find tons. Matter of fact, if you DM, you have a laptop. Do you have access to a laptop?
I have an iPad.
Okay, the iPad will work as long as it has Excel. If it has Excel on it, you can either download a template for a budget and utilize that. You could send me a message. If you send me a message, send me your email address in how you can send messages in TikTok. I will email you a copy of my budget, a blank copy of my budget program. I use this for a lot of my clients. I'll send you I email you a blank template. All you got to do is plug in the numbers, and for the things that I may not have, just add those in there. But you need to have a budget that you can follow. And so that that'll let you know where all your finances are. And then for as many things as you can, set them on automatic so that they automatically withdraw out of your account. That way you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to forget. Like I have to set automatics. Otherwise I'm gonna forget to pay something. So set the automatics. That way everything comes out when it's supposed to come out. And then you live based on that budget so that you don't have negatives in your bank account, which negatives cost you more money because then you got to pay overdraft fees and all those sorts of things. So if you send me an email, I'll send you a template. Send me your email, I'll send you a template. If you don't want to do all that, you can just download a template online and utilize your laptop. Use your tablet to be able to manage your budget. And then when you get a job, you can put the new income in there and continue to use the budget. If you use a budget, it'll free you up of a lot of worry because now you won't be stressed over it. Plus, it'll let you know, do you have to move out of the house, or is he moving out of the house? Who's getting the living situation?
Well, that's the thing. I was trying to. I said I would prefer to live in the home, but he wants the home, and I'm like, fine, you can have that, but I'm gonna need some type of support because I was the primary caretaker of the kids, and I wasn't really the one managing the finances. So nobody plans to get divorced, you know.
No, nobody plans for it.
Happens, people just change on you and stuff. That's the way it works.
This is where you definitely. I'm gonna reiterate this when you need to get a lawyer, because I'm not giving you legal advice. Let me clarify. I'm not giving legal advice, but I would get a lawyer because I would force the sale of the home. If he doesn't want to give up the house, then I would force the sale of the home and a 50-50 split of the profits so that you can go and get you a new home. And then if you have a budget, you'll know how much of a home that you can afford. But you need somebody that's going to fight for you, because you're not fighting for yourself. And you're thinking about his best interest.
That's the thing. Getting an attorney is like, I can't afford an attorney. So that's where the problem lies, because I was primarily focusing on the children.
So I don't know what city that you're in, but I know that, like, I grew up in Atlanta.
I'm in Atlanta.
Huh? Where are you?
I'm in Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
Atlanta.
Good. I'm from Atlanta. So I don't know the names of them because I never needed them. But there are women advocacy groups that will get you a divorce lawyer for free. So you can get a lawyer and not have to pay for it. You just have to be willing to reach out to the different organizations that have that for women. And they're just going to ask you all about all your finances. You're going to tell them all your finances so that they can qualify you to be able to get a lawyer who's going to be doing it pro bono. And then that lawyer will help you through your divorce process. So you don't even have to pay for one. You just have to take, and this is the difference between praying and reality. If you just sit back and pray, nothing's going to happen except whatever he decides that he's going to do. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm just not talking to him. I'm talking to you right now. If I was talking to him, I'd probably have some other things, different things I would be saying, like, dude, you taking advantage of that woman. But I'm talking to you. So praying, you'll never find out about the advocacy groups that will give you a free lawyer. But when you don't give into prayer, when you say prayer is worthless, or you know what, I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to stay within the confines of your religion. In Christianity, it says people like to repeat, take one step toward God, he'll take 2 steps towards you. And a lot of people take that as pray, and then God's going to take 2 steps towards you. That's not what that means. What that means is you got to take the first step to go do something about your situation, and then God to take 2 steps towards you. Because I'm right now, for you, this ain't about deconstructing Christianity at all. This is about you being able to take care of yourself, take care of your kids. So if you take the step to find the agencies, once you find the agencies are going to then take over your case and help you and fight for you. But you got to take that first step. Just sitting praying about it, that's not the first step. So tell me right now that you're going to reach out to women advocacy groups to find one that provides free lawyers.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for the I'm gonna look for them and stuff. I'll just look at them. Like,
what is your name? What's your name?
My name is Adeline.
Madeline?
No, Adeline without
Adeline. Okay, Adeline. I need you to say to yourself, Adeline, I'm going to find, not I'm going to look, I'm going to find a women's advocacy group that will provide for me a lawyer to fight for me. I need you to say that to yourself. You got to you don't make that promise to me. Don't make that promise to nobody but you. You got to tell Addison, you are going to find a lawyer through a women advocacy group to help you fight through this divorce. You need to say that to yourself. You ain't got to say it right now. I would love for you to say it right now, but you need to say that to yourself every day, multiple times a day, until you find that group that's going to help you through this process. And you need to tell yourself you're going to thrive through this. Yeah, divorce is 99% of the time, divorce is a horrible thing to have to go through. And your situation sounds like one of those times where it's not a fun thing. This is not something you wanted, something you wanted to go through, but it is what it is. So it's going to be emotional. You're going to feel sad. You're going to be angry, but you're going to make it through it. Is this your first divorce?
Yes.
You're going to make it through it. The first time when I went through divorce, I thought that my whole world was going to crumble. I went through depression. I was depressed for at least 6 months after the divorce. I went through all kinds of craziness in my own mind and in my own head. But as time went by, I found happiness. I found peace. I found a wife, you know, and I had a measuring stick. If you're not better than this person was the best person I've ever been with, and yet I got a divorce. So unless you're better than that person, I'm not dealing with you. So I created my own standards, and I came out of it a better person, a stronger person. And you can come out of it better and stronger. Because the alternative is like the lady that I was talking to earlier, about an hour or so ago, who the divorce put her in a situation where she thinks it's better to be a slave. She'd rather be a slave in hopes of never getting divorced again, because a slave wife don't have to get divorced. Her mentality has sunk in that low because of divorce. I don't want that to happen to you. So you got to believe in yourself. You have to, and go ahead, pray. Because I always tell people, if being with your religion makes you happy, stay with your religion. But at least understand it. And in understanding it, you have to take the steps before your belief takes any steps towards you. So promise yourself that you're going to find, that you will find the lawyer. They will help you through it. You will learn to budget your money, and you will manage your house, your finances correctly, so that you're not stressed over them. You have to believe that in yourself. I don't usually talk about belief, but you have to believe it normally, believe it first until you're doing it. And once you're doing it, you won't need belief, because you will know it. And then you will come out of it stronger and better. Are you going to make that promise to yourself?
Yeah, I'm looking for help. I'm gonna look for help somewhere.
You're going to find help.
I'm gonna find help out. I'm gonna. Well, I sometimes it's just harder to find help.
It doesn't matter how hard it is, and the words you say to yourself are so important. If you say, "I'm gonna look for," "I'm gonna try," that weakens your resolve to do it. You have to become determined. I will find. Not I'm gonna hope, I'm gonna find, I'm gonna look, I'm gonna try. I will find. You're a Christian, right?
Well, that's what I grew up as.
So you
know, I don't particularly claim Christianity even in first stage.
Okay. Oh, I thought you did, because
I just have a lot of questions now, like, because if God loved me, why me? Those are questions I ask, because I'm not a combative person. Like I've always been. Like I'm a laid back person. That's just my personality. I can't fix who I've always been.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have this fantasy of just being fair, when my mom told me when I was growing up, it said if you believe in God, then God will protect you. But I don't really feel protected right now, so I don't know. Just
I
have more questions than answers.
And unfortunately, in the Black community, we have suffered through being told those kinds of things through some of the most horrific times. And we think that we make it through, and we learn how to live in misery instead of learning how to go out and take life and make life be what we want it to be. Since you are questioning, I'm going to say that there is no God that's going to protect you. The first person that's going to protect you is you. And so if you don't get out there and protect yourself, believe in yourself, if you don't go out there and get that lawyer, there you will have no protection. This man is not going to, most likely, he sees you as a pushover. And he sees that because that's what you showed him, that you'll take it. ultimately, people who allow themselves to be pushed over and those who are doing the pushing over, after a while, they start to resent that person. And so they go out and they do all kinds of things, or they treat them poorly. So you will have to change, huh?
He believes in God. That's what he said, but he doesn't seem godly.
Well, all these people say they believe, a lot of them say they believe in this God, but none of them follow what this God says. What this God says, and thankfully, they don't follow what this God says. But even in the way that they've massaged this God character to make him seem like he's such a good, sweet, loving God, they still don't follow it. They still don't. They go out and they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do, and then think that they can just ask for forgiveness and everything is all right. And that's not even how the Bible works. If you do something wrong, you're supposed to repent, which means you make the other person whole again. You keep taking care of that person until they become whole. And Christians don't follow that at all. They think all they got to do is just pray and ask Jesus for forgiveness. Oh, I cheated on my spouse. I just need to ask God for forgiveness. I stole all my spouse's money, or I beat my spouse. I just need to ask God for forgiveness. No, that is not repentance. And that's not how, even if you look at how they teach it today, that's not how that's supposed to work. So don't let somebody claiming to believe in this God make you softer on that person. That's why you need a lawyer, somebody who's going to stand up for you. Hey, you're lucky you're not my client, because if you're my client, I'd be fussing at you right now. I'll talk to you a little bit different. But yeah, so I'm at the end of my show for today. And
yeah, I didn't come up on purpose. I don't know how I came up, but it's just,
you may not.
I was just listening to what you said, and I was just,
a Christian would say that, and a Christian is not gonna say this. If I was, here's the rub, here's the hypocrisy. If I was a Christian man, people would say, "Oh, you didn't want to come up, but God had it in store for you to come up on this show so that Renz can come on here and tell you how to make yourself whole, how to get you a lawyer. He's from Atlanta. You're in Atlanta. He knows that there are advocacy groups in Atlanta that'll help you out. God set all that up." That's what a Christian would say if I was Christian, but I'm not Christian. So it can't be God doing anything, right? What it is that you were going through this. The way I think, that energy hits you, and your subconscious mind said, "Let me hit this button."
No, I fell asleep because I was listening to you talking about.
Are you saying that I'm boring? You saying that I'm boring?
No, I was.
You fell asleep on me.
I fell asleep. I really, because I stayed on, because I'm listening to different perspectives. Because, like I said, I'm at a crossroad right now.
I'm just messing
so
with you.
I was just like, so I'm like, so then I don't know how I fell asleep, so I don't know how I came up. So when I heard someone calling my say hello, something like that, and I was just like, and I woke up and I was like, oh wait, what am I doing up there?
Adeline is saying that I'm bored.
TikTok does that. TikTok will have you on if you don't exit fast enough. Sometimes they will do that.
It's like okay.
It's on if you use your panel. I go on different people's panels, and it I don't know if it just automatically put me on the panel. So I was just like, oh.
Adeline, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Actually, I'm throwing jabs at all the Christians, how they would be a hypocrite right now, and how they would try to say that, oh, that was God's hand at work, and that's proof of God, and it's not. You just said it. TikTok is so damn sensitive that before you came on, somebody who was walking and the phone was in their pocket, and I can tell that it was in their pocket. You can hear the steps. TikTok is just sensitive as hell like that on these buttons, and it just happens. It just so happens that you clicked on somebody who could actually help you out with your situation right now. And so promise yourself you're going to reach out to that you're going to find which advocacy group will help you, and that you will get a lawyer to fight for you. Okay. All right. You gonna make that promise to yourself? Adeline?
Yeah, I'll make that. I'll do that.
All right. Because I see what your name is on here. Don't think that I ain't gonna reach out to you to find out. And if I reach out to you in a month, in less than a month, and you tell me you still haven't found one, I'm gonna cuss you out. I'm gonna be mean then. If you ain't found one within the next couple of weeks, then you're gonna get the other side of me, which is cussing you out. The mean part. All right.
Right. That's cool. All right.
All right. I appreciate you. You have a great day.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Hold on, y'all. Let me write this down because I'm writing down her name. I'm writing down your name on here so I remember. And I'm gonna give about, today is the 23rd. So I'm gonna give her to about August. Give about the August about the 8th. So if she ain't got that shit handled with a lawyer by then, you're gonna get fussed at. Oh man, it's 5:06. That actually is a great point to end. You know, I love when something, even though we talk about this type of situation, I love the fact that it doesn't matter when it comes to somebody having to deal with something. I don't give a two shits what you believe. If you need to fix something, you need some help in something, it's great to be able to just help people. And at the end of the day, it would be great if religion did foster a mentality of everybody in the world just helping everybody in the world in any way that they can help. Unfortunately, religion creates barriers between us, keeps us fighting one another. I know a lot of people making comments. I don't know what y'all was talking about because I was purely focused on hearing her. And when I do listen, when I'm coaching someone, and so y'all got an example of how my coaching situations go in that whole situation. I'm listening intently, but not just for the words they're saying, but the emotions that I can hear within their voices to be able to tell one thing or another. If I was a betting man, like the previous gentleman I talked to, I would say that on the 8th of August, when I reach out to her, that she's going to tell me that she hasn't found a lawyer yet. And I'm going to cuss her out. She's going to get cussed out at that point. Then I'm going to be mean. Then I'm going to be like, look here, damn it. All right. Oh, see, I always got it. Adeline, are you still on here? Say something in the comments or anything to let me know if you're still on here. I'm not bringing anybody else up right now because I'm getting ready to get off here, but I need to know if Adeline is still on, if she's still listening, because my wife okay, good. My wife, who is a research crazy woman, she will research something in a heartbeat, give an answer. I need you to, she has already looked it up, and it's called the Atlanta Legal Aid Society. Atlanta Legal Aid Society. Let me know you have written that down or you got that, Adeline. Atlanta Legal Aid Society. Atlanta Legal Aid Society. Also, and if you need these repeated, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is at Coach Rance 33 to get them again, because I'm putting them on the screen on there because I can't put it on the screen here. The Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation. Okay, you wrote it down. Great. Write this one down too, because you, just in case they can't get it done, you got another one. Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation. Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation. Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation. Make sure you write that one down too. See, my wife is not a Christian. When we need shit done, We go get it done. That's how you win at life. This for everybody. That's how you win at life. Not sitting back, hoping and praying that something happens. Taking the steps to make things happen the way you want them to. So Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation, Atlanta Society for Legal Aid, one of those situations, you should be able to get a lawyer to stand up and fight for you because you're not fighting for yourself. It don't take believing in no God. You ain't got to believe in some God for shit to happen, for great things to happen in your life. You came on this show on a person who does not believe in this God. You have an issue, and your issue can be easily solved by two different lawyer groups who can help you through your process. And then I told you how you can get a budget, and then you budget your life. Since you never had to handle that before, now you can, if you incorporate this lawyer, you go ahead and budget your money and maintain that budget. You will not have the worries. You won't be struggling. You won't have a need to go pray to some imaginary God waiting for him to solve your problems. You can solve your problems yourself, because most believers in any religion are living in a misery that they can deal with. You've got comfortable in the misery. You've allowed life to just give you whatever life gives you, and you get comfortable in it. But you got to get out there. I know the book says faith without works is dead. If you believe in the Bible, then follow that. Even though Paul said that we don't need no damn work, just all faith. Just follow that. Well, Julia, you can get off the damn thing. What? Okay, what possesses a Christian to come on there? I can't hear a word you're saying when you have a rebellious spirit against the one true King. Then why are you here? It's called, you have this power called scroll. Why are you even here then? What does it matter? When I see Christians preaching, I just keep scrolling. When I'm on TikTok and I'm scrolling, I see somebody got a little live panel on and they're talking about some, oh, you know, I believe in Jesus. I just keep scrolling. Oh, and Adeline, if you're still there, tell you, see, you can't give my wife a bone. You can't give her a bone. The DeKalb Volunteer Lawyers. So if you live in DeKalb County, I didn't ask her what county she lived in, but a lot of black folks live in DeKalb County. If you live in DeKalb County, DeKalb Volunteer Lawyers, DeKalb Volunteer Lawyers, DeKalb Volunteer Lawyers. See, you can't let Angelina get. She started researching something, and all of a sudden she gonna be in it. I guarantee tomorrow she probably have about 5 other organizations in Atlanta. But obviously my wife is probably home by now, so that means that I'm gonna get off here. How did you get home that fast? She must have left early, y'all. I'm listening because I was praying for answers. So you also got DeKalb Volunteer Lawyers if you live in DeKalb County. That was funny. That was good. That was good. But I definitely want you, you know, I'm not trying to mess up your soon-to-be ex-husband. It ain't about that. You just sound like you're in a very, you're just going to let some people run over you, and I don't want you to get ran over. The answer to that question that you just text me, Angelina, is yes. Why you, yeah, the answer is yes. Oh man, too. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the flowers. Yes, this was a good live. This is one of the more enjoyable lives that I've had. I am definitely going to clip two of these. Watch yourself, McTime. Don't be talking about some Me Too, Angelina. Yes, and you spell her name wrong. But time me to go. I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, I won't be on here tomorrow. I got a chiropractor appointment and a massage appointment tomorrow. So I won't be here tomorrow. I'm not normally here on Fridays anyway, so that doesn't matter. So y'all have a great day. Watch the videos that I put out over the weekend and the ones I put out today. And y'all always remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibrations. Yeah, I caught your ass Mac time. I saw that shit. It's all right though. It's all right. You good.